Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University in X-23, issue number 4. Okay, I didn't like this comic book, and this is going to be the last issue that I read in this comic book. That's just a straight heads up. Okay, let's talk about who made this comic book, and really quick what happened in the comic, and then I'll tell you why I'm out. So, 2 Birthdays and 3 Funerals, Part 4. Writer, Mariko Tamaki. Artist, Juan Cabal. Colorist, Nolan Woodward. Letters, VC's Corey Petit. And cover artists, Mike Choi and Jesus Abertov. I'm glad to see Abertov is doing a lot more covers. Go make that money, dude. Go make that cover money. So, for all intents and purposes, what happened here is we find out what happened in the previous issue. How did I find out what happened in the previous issue? Because I read the page that I just got finished reading that said the writer, the artist, the colors, and all that stuff. Right above that, it told me what happened in the previous issue. The previous issue I read, and I didn't understand that ending. I didn't understand exactly what was happening. And it was made a lot clearer by reading this. It's funny, I felt the same thing with the issue prior and the one before that. So, it seems to be a running theme here. You want to know what happened in the issue you just read? Wait until next month, and it'll explain it to you. Oh, wow. So basically, Esme comes back, the sister who during the Chaos Wars, mind you, the X-Men Chaos Wars, dude, written by Claremont and Louise Simonson. This is one of the most beautiful stories. I did a Spotlight on Story on this a couple of months ago. I didn't cover the Chaos Wars. I only covered the Chaos Wars, the X-Men tie-in, those 2 issues. I think it was only 2 issues. Those 2 issues, man. One of the most beautiful stories where Esme and Thunderbird, the original Thunderbird, John Proudstar, they get together after saving the universe, basically, at the very least our world, when everybody else in the world was dead, except for like 3 multiple men and a couple other whatever. Like, wow, man, that was just such an amazingly beautiful story, and just ignored, completely ignored in this case. Such a shame. So anyway, Esme Cuckoo takes over not X-23, Honey Badger's body, and she immediately sends Mindy out to go and try and find X-23, a wounded, angry X-23, mind you. And Mindy Cuckoo. She goes because of peer pressure. The other 3 sisters, including the recently resurrected one, just go, Mindy. Fine, I'll go out to my death. Like, literally, because of peer pressure, she's going to walk out to what she's got to know is her certain doom. Yeah. And then the speech that Esme gives immediately after she leaves the room is, we've got to stay together and keep a true form of unity, because then we'll never be able to be defeated. Didn't you just get finished sending one of them out? So Mariko Tamaki explains this immediately during the conversation by saying, yeah, Mindy was weak though, so she's basically culling the herd. Okay, but if they're all sisters, like, I get what you're saying about personalities, but here's another psychic sister who could totally help to make your powers stronger. This is just not good, man. This is not good. The comic contradicts itself over and over. And the comic is extremely difficult to understand. And I'm going to take a stab at why that's the case. All right, I know a lot of people keep on telling me, Mariko Tamaki, no, she did some amazing series before. I know that she did some amazing series before. I didn't read the X-23 or the Wolverine, whatever, the one that she did that everybody was falling in love with. I really should have, so I could have further respect for her. I already have enough respect for her. I only read issue number 1 of Being Super, the Supergirl series, and it was a beautiful story. It wasn't written for me. I remember, that was like a year ago, I specifically said I'm not going to read issue number 2 because I feel like this comic book is made for young women. And I'm very glad that a comic book is being made for young women. I hope this series never ends. And apparently it ended, and that sucks. Everybody needs some kind of representation, and you can't just have a couple of issues and hope that it's going to be okay when, let's face it, comic books aren't very good at marketing their wares. They're only marketing to other comic book readers, which is just terrible. Marvel, DC, comic book world. dude, I'm one of the people here, man. Talk to me, pay me. I will be happy to, hire me. Hire me. I'll be happy to show you how to actually market something like a comic book. Be more than happy to. Hint, Walmart's not the way to do it. You're just going to piss off the original fans. Okay, so one of the things that I feel went wrong with this comic book is that Mariko is expecting the artist, Juan Cabal, to fill in gaps. I'm imagining that she's writing, she's writing notes to Juan, hey, I need you to do this and this and this when you draw the comic book. So this way all these things are explained. The problem is, I'm looking at this comic book and just the text that I can actually read. I'm going through this comic book, I'm reading, there's almost no narration text. Are there any thought bubbles in here? There's a couple of psychic messages to each other. There's really only word bubbles, spoken word bubbles, and there's not even a whole lot of those. So I'm seeing her in this, look, she's award-winning, not just in comic books, dude. Mariko Tamaki is awesome. I don't know why she's doing this. I feel like it's a Misery situation. You know that book by Stephen King, Misery? She's like she's laying in a bed after getting into a car accident, and someone just broke her kneecaps with a sledgehammer because she moved Mr. Penguin, and they're saying, rewrite this book right now. So she's being forced to write a story that she doesn't. That's the way I'm imagining that she's writing this comic book, because it's just done so poorly. This doesn't seem like the typical way that she writes. This work is beneath her. This is like her, I'm gonna make this comic book against my will. That's what I feel that this is. I don't feel like she's putting a whole lot of her real effort into this comic book. That's the best way I can describe this. But like I said, just bottom line, I'm seeing the lousy way that she's communicating in this book to me, to us, the reader. And I can only imagine the lousy notes that she's sending to Juan Cabal, where he's looking at this saying, I think what she means is this, and just writing whatever, or drawing whatever, because that's that. I don't think that he's interested in this book. I don't think that she's interested in this book. I'm not interested in this book. I don't know why this book is actually here. Honestly, I think let's just finish out the arc. I personally won't be around for it. But yeah. This is not a great book, and it really saddens me because it should be. It should be. It started off very cute, and then it just kind of went bleh. And I don't like to read that. I don't like to read bad comic books. I'm not one of those guys who are going to just insult the comic book constantly and blah, 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 and then make sure I buy the next issue because that's what my fans like. No, if that's what you want, there are plenty of those writers out there. There are plenty of those people out there on YouTube, and usually on YouTube, who are just they're gonna rip their comic books and act like they're tough and try to cut a comic book with their knife and have to grunt and really because they're limp-wristed. But as for the rest of us, no, I'm not interested in doing those kind of comic books. So I'm going to simply say I don't like this comic book. It wasn't good, and I'm not going to be reading the next issue because I don't want to be giving a similar review. It's just not my style. And I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.